Hello friends. What if I told you that Taurus, the steady earth sign, could be the most reliable, loyal, and grounding friend you'll ever meet, but also the one who might drive you crazy with their stubbornness? Friendship with a Taurus is a unique journey, full of warmth, laughter, and moments that feel like home. Let's break down what Taurus is really like in the world of friendship, across 7 dimensions that will make you see them in an entirely new light. Loyalty as solid as stone. Have you ever known someone whose presence in your life feels almost immovable, like an anchor that keeps you steady no matter how rough the waves become? That is what it's like to be friends with a Taurus. Their loyalty isn't something they switch on and off depending on circumstances. It's woven into their very nature, like the deep roots of an oak tree that refuses to be shaken even by the fiercest storms. To a Taurus, friendship is not casual. It is not a temporary arrangement to pass the time. Once they invite you into their inner circle, you are no longer a passerby in their world, you are family, and family is sacred. This loyalty shows itself in countless small ways, many of which you might not even notice until you stop to think about them. They are the ones who remember to send you a message after a tough day, not because you ask for comfort, but because they can feel your silence. They are the friends who quietly pick up on the subtle changes in your mood, who will show up with coffee on the morning you didn't even realize you needed it, or who sit beside you in silence when words would feel too heavy. Their devotion doesn't scream for attention. It lives in the steady rhythm of their actions, in the consistency that makes you realize you never have to doubt where you stand with them. What makes Taurus loyalty so powerful is that it doesn't depend on convenience. Many people are good friends when it's easy, when life is going well, when gatherings are lighthearted, when showing up requires little effort. But Taurus proves themselves most in the difficult seasons, in the times when you feel too exhausted to reach out, or when your struggles seem endless. While others may fade into the background, Taurus digs in deeper. They become the voice reminding you of your worth, the steady hand pulling you back up when you've stumbled too many times to count. In those moments, their loyalty isn't just a nice quality, it's life-saving. But with all that said, this loyalty is not blind, nor is it unconditional in the sense of tolerating betrayal. Taurus gives from the heart, but they also expect the same in return. They believe in balance and mutual respect. If you repeatedly disregard their trust, if you prove yourself unreliable or careless with their vulnerability, the bond will fracture. And unlike some signs who forgive quickly, Taurus does not forget wounds so easily. Their memory is sharp, and betrayal cuts them deeply because it violates the very foundation they've built the friendship upon. Losing their trust is like watching a fortress crumble, and rebuilding it is close to impossible. This high expectation often makes Taurus friendships both incredibly rewarding and a little intimidating. You know you're safe in their hands, but you also know you must handle their trust with care. They will never demand loyalty outright, but they notice when you're absent in their hardest times. They pay attention to whether you stand with them when gossip circles, whether you speak their name with respect when they're not around. In many ways, their loyalty acts as a mirror. It reveals to you whether you are truly as good a friend as you think you are. Another striking quality of Taurus loyalty is that it's not grand or performative. They won't make dramatic declarations about standing by your side forever. They won't flood social media with posts about how close you are. Instead, they show up consistently in the moments that matter, in the small, almost invisible gestures that add up to something monumental. They drive you to the airport at dawn without complaining. They remember the anniversary of your biggest heartbreak and check in to see how you're doing. They guard your secrets like they are their own, never allowing your vulnerability to become gossip. This subtle, rounded expression of loyalty is what makes them so trustworthy. It doesn't need a spotlight to prove itself, it simply exists. And perhaps what makes their loyalty feel so solid as stone is the sheer persistence of it. Even if you drift apart due to life's circumstances, moving cities, changing jobs, or simply being consumed by different paths, a Taurus friend is the type who can reconnect with you after years and pick up as if no time has passed. Their love doesn't expire with distance or silence. It waits patiently, knowing that true friendship is not measured in daily contact but in the bond that endures. This persistence also shows in how they defend the people they care about. A Taurus may not be quick to jump into confrontation, but if someone threatens or disrespects you, their protective side emerges without hesitation. They are not loud warriors, but they are immovable guardians. They will stand their ground for you, sometimes more fiercely than they would for themselves, because in their world, loyalty means protection. To them, friendship is sacred territory, and anyone who dares to harm it faces their unyielding resistance. Yet, for all their steadiness, Taurus loyalty also has a warmth that keeps you coming back. It isn't just about endurance or persistence, it's about genuine affection. They don't stay by your side simply out of duty, they stay because they truly care. When they laugh with you, it's wholehearted. When they cry with you, it's sincere. And when they celebrate with you, it's with a joy so authentic that you feel seen and valued in a way few others can offer. In many ways, Taurus loyalty is a paradox. It is quiet yet powerful, gentle yet unbreakable, forgiving in its patience yet fierce in its boundaries. It is a loyalty that makes you feel both comforted and accountable, safe yet challenged to rise to your best self. To be friends with a Taurus is to know what it feels like to never doubt someone's presence in your life, to feel that even when the world grows chaotic, one thing remains certain: they will not abandon you. And perhaps that is why Taurus friends are often remembered for a lifetime. Even if paths diverge, even if circumstances change, the memory of their loyalty lingers like the echo of a song you can't forget. They leave an imprint, not because of dramatic gestures, but because their constancy shapes the very foundation of your friendship. You may meet many people who pass through your life, but a Taurus is one of the few you'll always carry with you, a friend whose loyalty is as solid, as dependable, and as enduring as stone itself. And now, a little side note. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a thanks button right under this video, or through the donation alerts link in the description. Your support truly helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let's continue. The comfort zone creators. Imagine walking into a room where the air itself feels softer, where the tension you've been carrying all week seems to slip off your shoulders the moment you cross the threshold. That is what it's like to step into the orbit of a Taurus friend. They are the ultimate architects of comfort, the ones who instinctively know how to create environments that soothe, nurture, and replenish. With them, home isn't defined by four walls, it's defined by their presence, by the way they transform ordinary moments into safe havens where you can breathe, laugh, and be unapologetically yourself. Taurus has a gift for sensing what makes people feel at ease. Maybe it's their earthy nature, rooted in the tangible and the sensory, but they understand the power of small, thoughtful details. They'll stock your favorite tea without ever asking, they'll have an extra blanket waiting when the evening chill sets in, and they'll light a candle with a scent that makes the entire space feel like warmth in physical form. You never have to spell out what you need around them, because they've already noticed. Their comfort-giving ability isn't forced or rehearsed, it's intuitive. It flows naturally from their deep desire to make their friends feel safe and cared for. Think of a night in with a Taurus friend. They won't just order food, they'll remember that you prefer extra sauce on the side. They won't just stream a movie, they'll pick one that they know will make you laugh when you've had a bad week. Their gatherings don't have to be elaborate to feel special. A simple dinner in their kitchen can feel more restorative than a night out at the fanciest restaurant, because what they offer isn't luxury, it's authenticity. They know how to strip away the noise of the outside world and bring people back to what matters: warmth, laughter, and genuine connection. And their comfort zones extend beyond the physical. Taurus has a way of creating emotional safety, too. Around them, you don't have to edit your thoughts or pretend to be fine when you're not. They are patient listeners, never rushing you to finish your story, never judging you for the messy parts of your life. Their calm, grounded presence tells you it's okay to unravel a little, that they can hold the weight of your honesty without flinching. For many, this emotional sanctuary is more valuable than anything material. It's the reason why, in times of crisis, friends instinctively turn to Taurus for support. But there is a paradox here. While Taurus excels at creating comfort zones for others, they can be deeply attached to their own. Their love for routine, stability, and the familiar makes them resistant to change. Suggest a spontaneous road trip or an unplanned adventure, and you might find them hesitating, calculating every possible inconvenience. It's not that they don't love fun, they do. It's just that stepping outside the security of their carefully crafted spaces feels unsettling. They thrive on knowing what to expect, on having control over the environment, and so unpredictability can spark quiet resistance. Yet, this reluctance can sometimes be endearing. Imagine dragging a Taurus to a late-night karaoke bar when they'd rather be curled up at home. At first, they'll resist, rolling their eyes and muttering about how this isn't their thing. But once they warm up, their laughter will fill the room, their energy contagious, and suddenly they're belting out songs with everyone else. These moments remind you that while they might cling to their comfort zones, they're capable of surprising themselves, and you, when they finally let go. Their stubbornness to leave their bubble often makes the eventual leap all the more rewarding. Still, at their core, Taurus friends know their strength lies in stability. They aren't the thrill seekers or the adrenaline chasers. They are the hearth keepers, the ones who make sure there's always a place to return to after the chaos of life. And isn't that just as important? In a world that constantly demands motion and reinvention, Taurus stands as a reminder that rest, familiarity, and safety are not weaknesses, they are essential to human connection. Their comfort zones become sanctuaries for their friends, the places where bonds deepen, where laughter lingers late into the night, where silence feels just as comforting as conversation. There's also something timeless about the way Taurus crafts comfort. Trends come and go, but their style of hospitality is eternal. It's in the home-cooked meal instead of the trendy takeout, in the long conversations that stretch past midnight, in the quiet reassurance that they will always be there. Their comfort isn't about impressing you, it's about grounding you. It's about creating a sense of belonging so strong that even when you leave their presence, you carry a piece of that warmth with you. And perhaps this is why friendships with Taurus endure. People are drawn to comfort, to safety, to places where they can set their burdens down without fear of judgment. In Taurus, you find not just a friend, but a refuge. You find someone who doesn't just talk about being there for you, they show it in the way they keep your favorite mug in their cupboard, the way they make space for you on their couch without needing an invitation, the way they remember the little things that most others forget. So yes, they may resist stepping into the unknown, and yes, they may cling to routines with a stubborn grip. But isn't there beauty in that? Isn't there comfort in knowing that amidst all the unpredictability of life, there is at least one person who will always provide the same grounding, familiar warmth every single time? That is the gift of a Taurus friend, the comfort zone creator, the safe harbor, the steady flame that never wavers. With them, you'll always know that no matter how chaotic the world becomes, there's a place where you can breathe, laugh, and simply be, and that place is wherever they are. Strengths in friendship, patience and consistency. There is something almost timeless about the way a Taurus approaches friendship. While the world spins faster every day, filled with fleeting connections, quick texts, and promises that often go unkept, Taurus moves at a different rhythm. Their rhythm is steady, measured, and patient. They don't demand constant proof of your affection or expect you to always be available. Instead, they cultivate bonds the way a gardener tends to a tree, slowly, deliberately, and with faith that what they are nurturing will stand tall for decades to come. Their friendships are never about quick thrills or temporary companionship. They are about building something enduring, something that will weather life's changes. Patience is one of Taurus's most defining traits, and it manifests beautifully in how they treat their friends. If you go through a season of silence, perhaps because work has overwhelmed you or life has taken an unexpected turn, a Taurus won't bombard you with guilt or make you feel like you've failed them. They understand that people ebb and flow, that sometimes you need space, and they respect that without judgment. When you finally resurface, you won't find passive-aggressive remarks or cold distance. Instead, you'll find the same warm embrace as before, as if no time has passed at all. To them, friendship is not measured in daily contact but in the quality of the bond, and they trust the bond enough to let it breathe. Consistency is the other cornerstone of their strength. Many friends might come and go, appearing when life is convenient, disappearing when it's not, but Taurus is unwavering. They show up in both big and small ways, not just once but over and over again. If they say they'll be there, not just the first time, but every time. You learn quickly that you can rely on them, not because they make grand promises, but because their actions reinforce their reliability again and again. They don't flake out at the last minute, and they don't leave you wondering if they'll keep their word. With them, what you see is what you get: a steady, dependable friend who values showing up more than talking about it. This patience and consistency also extend to how they handle conflict. In friendships, disagreements are inevitable, but Taurus approaches them with a calm, measured demeanor. They won't blow up at you over minor issues, nor will they let small annoyances destroy years of trust. Instead, they're willing to wait, to talk things through, to give space when emotions are high, and to return when things can be addressed rationally. Their patience prevents unnecessary explosions, and their consistency ensures that even when storms pass, the friendship remains intact. They don't throw away relationships lightly. They fight for them, because to Taurus, bonds are worth preserving. There is also something healing about their calm presence. In a world where everything feels urgent, Taurus reminds you to slow down. Their consistency is like a steady heartbeat, reassuring and grounding. When you're with them, you feel like you can take a breath without the fear of being judged or left behind. They don't push you to move faster than you're ready for. Instead, they match your pace, walking alongside you with patience. It's why so many people find themselves confiding in Taurus, because they know they won't be rushed, dismissed, or forgotten. They know that whatever they share will be received with steady attention and without the volatility that so many other friendships bring. But what makes these strengths even more remarkable is how rare they are. In an age of instant gratification, where many people chase novelty and abandon stability, Taurus's way of nurturing friendships feels almost revolutionary. They don't need constant drama to keep a friendship alive. They don't demand fireworks or constant validation. Their approach is quieter, but far more enduring. It's the difference between a spark that burns bright and fades quickly versus a fire that smolders steadily, providing warmth through the coldest nights. Taurus offers the latter, the dependable flame that doesn't waver when winds blow. This reliability also fosters trust. You can tell Taurus your deepest fears or your wildest dreams, and you know they won't weaponize that information later or mock you for your vulnerability. They'll hold it gently, patiently, and consistently remind you that they're on your side. Even if years go by, even if circumstances change, their memory for what matters to you remains intact. They'll ask about that dream you mentioned long ago, or they'll check in on something you thought they had forgotten. Their consistency makes you feel seen and valued in a way that's increasingly rare. Of course, this kind of patience can sometimes be misunderstood. To those who thrive on constant energy or crave drama, Taurus's steadiness might seem boring or slow. But those who take the time to truly understand it realize that this consistency is a gift. It is the very quality that makes their friendships last. It's what ensures that when the excitement of new friendships fades, Taurus remains. They are the ones who are still there, holding space, offering calm, and proving that the most valuable relationships are not the loudest, but the most steadfast. Over time, you begin to realize that Taurus's patience and consistency aren't just qualities, they are forms of love. They show their care not by overwhelming you with words, but by quietly proving, day after day, that they are someone you can depend on. They show it by waiting for you when you need space, by welcoming you back with open arms, by never letting the chaos of life shake the foundation they've built with you. And when you look back years later, you'll see that these steady rhythms have woven a friendship so durable and comforting that it feels unbreakable. In the end, Taurus's strength in patience and consistency is what makes them unforgettable friends. They are the ones who don't just survive the ups and downs of life with you, they thrive through them, helping you find balance when everything else feels unstable. They are the quiet anchors in a noisy world, the calm in the storm, the steady presence that reminds you that real friendship doesn't need constant proof to exist. It only needs trust, time, and the kind of devotion that Taurus offers so naturally. Challenges in friendship, stubbornness and resistance to change. Every strength has its shadow, and with Taurus, the same rock-solid qualities that make them such steady friends can also become the very traits that frustrate you the most. Their stubbornness is legendary, woven into the very core of their personality, and while it gives them admirable resilience, it can also turn into an immovable wall that blocks progress in a friendship. To understand Taurus fully, you have to see both sides, the comforting, grounding presence they offer, and the unyielding resistance that can make even the smallest disagreements feel like epic battles. When Taurus forms an opinion, it becomes almost sacred to them. This isn't the type of friend who casually flips perspectives based on trends, gossip, or convenience. No, their viewpoint is carved out slowly, deliberately, and once they've settled into it, convincing them otherwise is like trying to push a mountain with your bare hands. You might come armed with logic, examples, or heartfelt pleas, but Taurus won't easily budge. They value their own judgment highly, and once they've decided what feels right or true, they'll hold on to it with an intensity that can be both awe-inspiring and exhausting. Picture inviting a Taurus friend to try a new restaurant that just opened across town. While you're buzzing with excitement about the unfamiliar menu and the fresh energy of the place, Taurus may fold their arms, shake their head, and say something like, "Why go somewhere new when the place we always go to is perfectly fine?" At first, you might laugh, thinking they're joking. But soon, you realize they mean it. They aren't being difficult just for the sake of it. They genuinely see no reason to leave the familiar path when it has always worked for them. To Taurus, if it isn't broken, why fix it, is not just a saying, but a philosophy. This resistance extends far beyond food choices. Suggest a new idea during a conversation, especially if it challenges a deeply held belief of theirs, and you'll find yourself in for a long, heated debate. Taurus doesn't back down easily, and even when presented with evidence that contradicts their stance, they may double down rather than admit they were wrong. It's not that they don't hear you, they do. But to them, changing their mind feels like betraying themselves, like uprooting something that has taken years to build. They equate stability with strength, and any form of change can feel like an unnecessary risk. For friends who thrive on spontaneity, novelty, and flexibility, this trait can be maddening. You may feel like you're constantly dragging them towards something new, only to meet resistance at every step. Their stubbornness can make planning difficult, especially when you're trying to step outside of the routine. And yet, ironically, this very rigidity can sometimes bring balance. Where others leap too quickly, Taurus holds steady, preventing reckless decisions and reminding everyone of the value of consistency. Still, patience is required, because they won't always see the value in stepping outside their comfort zone, at least, not right away. What's important to remember is that this stubbornness isn't born from malice or arrogance. At its heart, it often comes from loyalty, to their values, to their habits, and most importantly, to the people they love. Taurus doesn't cling to something new simply because it's shiny or exciting. They cling to what has proven itself, what has stood the test of time. If they resist change, it's often because they don't want to risk losing something meaningful, or because they fear the unknown could damage the stability they've worked so hard to build. Their loyalty to the familiar is their way of protecting themselves and those they care about. But navigating this side of Taurus requires finesse. You can't push them aggressively, because the more you shove, the more they'll dig in their heels. Trying to bulldoze them into change will only result in them becoming even more entrenched in their position. Humor often helps. A playful nudge, a lighthearted joke, or framing the new experience as something fun rather than threatening can lower their defenses. Gentle persuasion works better than confrontation, and patience is your greatest ally. Sometimes, simply planting a seed and letting it sit in their mind for a while is enough. They might resist at first, but weeks later, you'll hear them suggest the very idea you introduced, as though it were their own. There's also a surprising sweetness hidden in their resistance. When Taurus refuses to let go of traditions, routines, or familiar places, it's often because those things hold sentimental value. That old cafe they always want to visit? It's not just about the food, it's about the memories created there, the comfort of a space that feels like home. That opinion they won't change? It's tied to their sense of integrity, to the belief that staying true to themselves matters more than bending to fit others' expectations. Understanding this deeper layer can soften the frustration, helping you see their stubbornness not just as obstinacy, but as devotion. Still, balance is key. A friendship with Taurus thrives when both sides learn to bend a little. They teach you the beauty of stability, of sticking with what works, of honoring traditions and routines. But they also need you to gently remind them that growth often requires discomfort, that new experiences can bring joy they never anticipated. With time and trust, many Taurus individuals learn to loosen their grip, to step outside their comfort zones, though never recklessly, always with caution. And when they do, the experience often becomes all the more special because they didn't take it lightly. In the end, the challenge of their stubbornness and resistance to change is inseparable from the beauty of their steadfastness. The same qualities that frustrate you are also the ones that make them reliable, trustworthy, and loyal. Yes, they may drag their feet when you want to run ahead, but they're also the ones who will never abandon you halfway. Yes, they may argue passionately and refuse to budge, but they're also the ones who will stand by you with the same unshakable resolve. Friendship with a Taurus isn't about constantly breaking new ground, it's about learning when to cherish the familiar and when to gently expand the boundaries together. Best zodiac matches for friendship. Some friendships feel like fleeting encounters, like sparks that flare brightly only to fizzle out quickly. Others, however, carry a sense of permanence, of harmony, of something built to last. For Taurus, the earthbound sign of stability and loyalty, certain zodiac pairings bring out the very best of who they are, creating friendships that feel like home. Among all the signs, Virgo and Cancer rise to the top as ideal matches, not because of flashy excitement, but because of the profound, steady compatibility they share with Taurus. These bonds are not just friendships, they are partnerships in trust, companionships that deepen over time and withstand the pressures of life. With Virgo, the connection often begins with mutual recognition. Both Taurus and Virgo are earth signs, grounded in practicality, realism, and a shared appreciation for the tangible aspects of life. They value honesty, reliability, and routines that make life flow smoothly. When these two find each other, there is rarely an explosion of chaos or drama. Instead, there's a quiet sense of relief, as though they've stumbled upon someone who understands their language without needing translation. Taurus sees in Virgo a kindred spirit who appreciates order, loyalty, and consistency, while Virgo admires Taurus's strength, calmness, and capacity to make life feel secure. In friendship, this pairing feels unshakable because neither is prone to recklessness or betrayal. Virgo won't promise what they can't deliver, and Taurus respects that integrity deeply. Taurus, in turn, offers Virgo a sense of reassurance, showing them that not every worry needs to spiral into overthinking. Virgo's careful, thoughtful nature blends perfectly with Taurus's steady patience, creating a dynamic where both feel supported without being overwhelmed. Together, they balance one another. Virgo gently encourages Taurus to refine and grow, while Taurus teaches Virgo the importance of rest, grounding, and enjoying life's pleasures without guilt. What makes Virgo and Taurus friendships even more powerful is their shared approach to loyalty. Both believe that trust, once established, is sacred. They are not flighty friends who disappear when life becomes inconvenient. Instead, they stand by one another, through thick and thin, building a history that feels like a strong foundation rather than a fragile connection. Disagreements between them are rare, and when they do occur, they tend to be practical rather than dramatic, more about differing approaches than personal betrayal. And because both signs are rooted in patience and respect, conflicts are resolved without leaving scars. Now, while Virgo offers Taurus a mirror of practicality, Cancer provides something altogether different: emotional depth. Cancer is the nurturer of the zodiac, ruled by the moon, deeply attuned to feelings, intuition, and care. Where Taurus provides stability, Cancer brings warmth. Where Taurus builds the walls of a secure home, Cancer fills that home with love, laughter, and tenderness. This combination creates a friendship that feels like a lifelong embrace, one that nourishes both body and soul. Cancer, with their nurturing instincts, senses Taurus's unspoken needs. They notice when Taurus is silently carrying burdens, when they need a comforting word, or simply when they need someone to sit beside them in quiet solidarity. Cancer's emotional intelligence blends beautifully with Taurus's calm steadiness, creating a relationship where both feel seen and supported in different ways. Taurus, who sometimes struggles to express vulnerability, learns through Cancer that emotions aren't weaknesses but bridges to deeper understanding. Meanwhile, Taurus provides Cancer with the stability they crave, a rock to lean on when their feelings threaten to overwhelm them. These two signs complement each other so well because their differences create balance. Taurus's pragmatic approach to life keeps Cancer grounded when emotions run high, while Cancer's empathy helps Taurus soften their sometimes rigid exterior. Together, they form a rhythm, Taurus steadying the tempo, Cancer weaving melody and emotion through the beat. The result is harmony, a friendship that feels both grounding and uplifting. It's also worth noting that Taurus appreciates Cancer's fierce loyalty. Cancer is not one to abandon those they love, and this unwavering devotion mirrors Taurus's own steadfastness. Both signs treasure the concept of forever in relationships, and when they commit to a friendship, they treat it as sacred. They may not always need grand adventures or constant novelty to keep their bond alive. Sometimes, the comfort of shared silence, a home-cooked meal, or a long conversation under the stars is enough to make their connection feel profound. When Taurus joins forces with Virgo or Cancer, the results are truly transformative. Virgo sharpens Taurus's strengths, encourages refinement, and provides companionship built on shared values. Cancer softens Taurus's edges, teaches the power of emotional openness, and offers a warmth that enriches even the most ordinary moments. Both signs, in their own ways, bring out the very best in Taurus, helping them grow while also honoring their need for security and loyalty. What ties these friendships together is balance. Virgo and Taurus remind each other of the beauty of structure, honesty, and perseverance, while Cancer and Taurus show each other the value of love, comfort, and emotional honesty. These are not flashy connections that rely on constant excitement. They are bonds that mature, deepen, and strengthen over time, offering Taurus something they value above all else: stability that feels alive, not stagnant. Ultimately, the reason Virgo and Cancer stand out as best matches for Taurus is because they respect the essence of who Taurus is. They don't try to push Taurus too far out of their comfort zone, nor do they take their loyalty for granted. Instead, they meet Taurus where they are, honoring their steadiness while bringing in their own gifts to enrich the friendship. With Virgo, it's mutual practicality and trust. With Cancer, it's emotional nourishment and warmth. And together, these pairings create some of the most fulfilling, harmonious, and enduring friendships Taurus will ever know. Tricky zodiac matches for friendship. As much as Taurus is capable of forming some of the most loyal, grounding, and enduring friendships in the zodiac, not every connection flows smoothly. There are certain signs whose natural rhythms, desires, and temperaments clash with the steady, rooted essence of Taurus. These friendships can feel like fire meeting earth, or like water poured over stone. They don't always blend easily, and at times, they create more tension than harmony. Among the most challenging pairings for Taurus are Aquarius and Leo, two signs whose energy often runs in directions that feel entirely opposite to what Taurus craves. While these friendships are not doomed, they do require more compromise, patience, and willingness to understand than most. Aquarius, the free-spirited visionary of the zodiac, often collides with Taurus's preference for stability. Where Taurus thrives on routine, familiarity, and traditions that anchor them, Aquarius is driven by a restless need for change, innovation, and independence. Aquarius wants to try new ideas, challenge the status quo, and move quickly into uncharted territory. Taurus, on the other hand, prefers to master the familiar, to create comfort and consistency, and to hold on to what has already proven reliable. This contrast can create friction early on, because while Taurus views change as potentially destabilizing, Aquarius views resistance to change as limiting, even suffocating. Imagine Taurus suggesting their favorite cafe for the 10th time because it feels cozy, safe, and filled with familiar faces, while Aquarius pushes for a pop-up art show on the other side of town. To Taurus, the cafe offers comfort, grounding, and predictability, a sanctuary. To Aquarius, the cafe feels stagnant, repetitive, even boring. Their adventurous, inventive spirit craves stimulation and newness, and the thought of repeating the same experience makes them restless. This tug-of-war between tradition and novelty is the crux of their challenge. Taurus fears too much change, while Aquarius fears too little. The clash extends beyond lifestyle choices. Aquarius's independence can sometimes feel like detachment to Taurus. Aquarius often needs large amounts of space, preferring to spread their energy across many communities, causes, and friendships. They don't want to be tied down, and they resist anything that feels possessive or overly demanding. Taurus, however, places immense value on loyalty, consistency, and closeness. When Aquarius drifts or disappears, Taurus may interpret it as disinterest or betrayal, even if Aquarius genuinely cares. This difference in expectations can easily cause misunderstandings. Taurus feels abandoned, while Aquarius feels pressured. Yet, beneath the challenges, there is potential for growth. If Taurus can loosen their grip on routine and learn to embrace change in small doses, Aquarius can open their world in ways that feel exciting rather than threatening. Likewise, if Aquarius can slow down enough to appreciate the depth and stability Taurus offers, they may discover the grounding force they never knew they needed. These friendships are not effortless, but when both sides learn to honor each other's strengths, the result can be a bond that blends Earth's steadiness with air's freedom, a rare and rewarding mix. With Leo, the difficulties take on a different form. Where Aquarius challenges Taurus with unpredictability, Leo clashes with Taurus through sheer force of will. Both signs are fixed in nature, which means both are stubborn, strong-minded, and unwilling to compromise easily. When two fixed signs collide, neither wants to yield, and what could be a simple disagreement can spiral into a battle of egos. Taurus seeks calm, security, and stability, while Leo thrives on attention, drama, and excitement. Leo loves to shine, to be admired, and to feel at the center of things. Taurus, while capable of admiration, often grows weary of what they see as Leo's theatrics. To Taurus, Leo can come across as too loud, too self-centered, or too restless. To Leo, Taurus can feel too serious, too cautious, even boring. Their friendship often oscillates between moments of deep admiration, because Taurus does respect Leo's confidence, and Leo does value Taurus's strength, and explosive clashes when neither is willing to bend. Picture a Taurus and a Leo planning a night out. Taurus wants a quiet dinner at their favorite restaurant, enjoying comfort food and steady conversation. Leo wants the hottest new club, where they can dance, sparkle, and soak in attention. Both dig their heels in. Neither wants to yield. What could have been a fun evening instead becomes a standoff. In these moments, it's clear how their stubbornness, though admirable in individual contexts, can become a major obstacle when paired together. However, much like with Aquarius, these difficulties are not insurmountable. When Taurus and Leo learn to appreciate each other's gifts, their friendship can transform from rivalry to admiration. Taurus provides Leo with grounding, a reminder that life doesn't always need to be lived at maximum volume. Leo, in turn, encourages Taurus to embrace more joy, more spontaneity, more confidence in their own ability to shine. They balance one another in unexpected ways. Taurus tempers Leo's fire without extinguishing it, while Leo adds light and warmth to Taurus's sometimes overly predictable routines. Still, these friendships require effort, perhaps more than others. With Aquarius, Taurus must learn to allow space and movement without feeling abandoned. With Leo, Taurus must learn to compromise without losing their sense of self. Both require Taurus to stretch beyond their comfort zone, to practice flexibility, and to let go of the need for total control. For their part, Aquarius and Leo must learn to respect Taurus's steadiness, to see it not as a limitation but as a gift. Aquarius must understand that loyalty is sacred to Taurus, while Leo must recognize that Taurus's quiet strength is not weakness, but resilience. Ultimately, the tricky matches of Aquarius and Leo remind us that not all friendships are meant to be effortless. Some require negotiation, compromise, and a willingness to see beyond the surface. These are the bonds that test patience and demand growth. While they may never feel as seamless as the partnerships Taurus finds with Virgo or Cancer, they can still hold immense value. When Taurus learns to embrace change with Aquarius, they expand their horizons. When Taurus learns to dance with Leo, they discover joy outside of predictability. In the friction, there is possibility, a chance to create friendships that are as dynamic as they are challenging. The Taurus friendship legacy. There is something enduring, almost eternal, about the kind of friendship Taurus creates. If other bonds in life can feel fleeting, like sparks that burn brightly and then vanish into smoke, a friendship with Taurus is more like a tree planted in good, fertile soil. It begins quietly, perhaps even slowly, but once the roots are established, they grow deep into the earth, anchoring themselves so firmly that even the strongest storm cannot tear them away. This is the legacy of Taurus in friendship, not temporary connections or surface-level bonds, but a lasting imprint that remains in your life long after the moment has passed. When you think back on your friendships years from now, you will often find Taurus etched into your most meaningful memories. They are there in the moments that truly mattered, sitting beside you in silence when words felt impossible, laughing with you until your stomach hurt on an otherwise ordinary day, or remembering your favorite childhood snack long after you'd forgotten you even mentioned it. Taurus friends don't just show up for the big events, they're woven into the fabric of your everyday life, turning the mundane into something unforgettable. Their presence becomes part of the story you tell yourself about who you were and how you were loved. Loyalty is perhaps the most defining part of this legacy. Taurus friends are unwavering once they've chosen you as part of their circle. They do not leave when things get difficult, and they do not abandon you for greener pastures. Their loyalty is not about words or declarations, but about the steady rhythm of their actions. It is in the phone call they make when they sense your silence, the defense they offer when your name is spoken in a room where you cannot defend yourself, the quiet way they hold space for you without asking for anything in return. This loyalty becomes a part of their legacy because it teaches you what it feels like to be truly secure in a friendship, to know, without doubt, that someone has your back. But the Taurus friendship legacy is more than loyalty, it is also warmth. Taurus may sometimes be reserved or cautious in how they express themselves, but when they care about you, they do so with a tenderness that leaves a permanent mark. They are the ones who create safe, welcoming spaces where you can be yourself. They cook meals not just to feed you but to comfort you. They offer their homes as sanctuaries where you can lay down your burdens. Their warmth is steady rather than overwhelming, but it lingers in your memory like a soft glow, reminding you of the times you felt cared for in ways both small and profound. Yes, their stubbornness is part of the story too. Taurus friends are not without flaws, and their resistance to change, their insistence on routine, and their sometimes unyielding opinions can be frustrating. But even these traits become part of their legacy, because they shape the unique texture of your bond. Their stubbornness, at its heart, is often tied to loyalty. They refuse to let go of people or values that matter to them. And while you may clash with them at times, you also learn to admire their refusal to be swayed by passing trends or shallow influences. Their stubborn steadiness reminds you that true friendship is not about convenience but about commitment. Perhaps one of the most beautiful aspects of the Taurus friendship legacy is how it endures even through time and distance. You could go months, even years, without seeing them, and yet when you reconnect, it feels as though no time has passed. Their friendships do not wither in the absence of constant contact, they persist quietly, waiting for the moment when paths cross again. This quality makes Taurus friends some of the most unforgettable companions in life. They may not flood your phone with daily texts, but you will find them standing beside you when you need them most, and in the end, that is what truly matters. Taurus also leaves a legacy of celebration. They are the friends who remember your milestones, who toast to your victories, who cheer for you even when you forget to cheer for yourself. Their joy in your achievements is genuine, untainted by jealousy or competition. They want to see you succeed, not because it reflects on them, but because they take pride in the people they love. Years later, when you look back on your happiest moments, you may realize Taurus was there, quietly clapping the loudest, reminding you that your worth is something to be celebrated. Their friendship legacy is also one of grounding. In a world where everything moves quickly, where people come and go with dizzying speed, Taurus stands as a reminder of constancy. They ground you, reminding you of what really matters: loyalty, trust, laughter, shared meals, simple joys. Their presence keeps you tethered when life feels overwhelming. And long after they've left the room, you'll feel the echo of that grounding, a calmness, a reassurance that you are not alone. If you were lucky enough to have a Taurus friend, you carry with you something rare. A bond that is built not on fleeting attraction or shallow connection, but on the kind of trust and love that weathers time. Their legacy in your life is not measured in grand gestures, but in the countless small moments that accumulate into something vast and unshakable. They are the friend who sat with you during heartbreak, who laughed with you until tears streamed down your face, who believed in you when your own confidence faltered. And when you think of them years from now, you won't just remember their stubbornness or their routines. You'll remember the way they made you feel safe, the way they reminded you of your worth, the way they showed up when it mattered most. That is the true Taurus friendship legacy. A bond so deeply rooted that it becomes part of who you are. A friendship that doesn't just last a season, but a lifetime. A Taurus friendship isn't the kind that dazzles with fireworks and fades away into the night sky. It's the steady glow of a lantern that never burns out, guiding you back home no matter how far you've wandered. You don't always notice it in the moment: the quiet loyalty, the patient listening, the way they create spaces that feel like refuge. But when you look back, you realize that Taurus was a constant thread woven through every season of your life. Yes, they can be stubborn. Yes, they love their routines. But perhaps that's exactly why their friendships endure. They don't chase after what's fleeting, and they don't abandon people when life gets messy. Instead, they anchor themselves to what matters: trust, respect, laughter, and love that isn't afraid to stay. So if you were fortunate enough to call a Taurus your friend, know this: you hold in your life one of the rarest gifts the universe has to offer. A bond that doesn't ask for perfection, only honesty. A connection that grows stronger the longer it lasts. And a legacy that, much like an oak tree, will stand tall and unshakable, offering shade, comfort, and strength, for as long as you're lucky enough to keep it.